The send-off doesn't mean much, but I do want to recognize Rick and Morty for providing a well-placed trigger warning at the top of the episode. However, and unfortunately, I'm giving it right back for not putting the same warning at the top of episode 2, which also had a graphic suicide. Pick a lane, guys. Do you care or not?
Who's ready for Rick's famous spaghetti?
I have never once thrown my phone at a wall and had it snap clean in half like this. I can't even imagine what it would need to be made out of in order for it to break this way. I feel like I'm going to be distracted by this for the rest of the episode because there's nothing weirder they could possibly put in front of my eyes. Right?
I love Spaghetti Thursdays! Oh my...
Spaghetti Thursdays? This food plus day of the week naming technique does not follow the very important rule of the first letter in each word matching. You can have Spaghetti Saturdays or even Spaghetti Sundays. Thursdays are reserved for tuna, Totino's, or talcum powder. It's better to just not ask about that last one. That was a dark time. Look, Leonardo da Vinci invented some cool shit, but even he was unable to invent a way to serve up such a perfect portion of spaghetti and bolognese in one scoop.
Grandpa Rick, I am skull emoji, but words.
Oh, is that how you'd prefer we did this summer? Well, I am. And most importantly, but words too.
God, no, why? Why? No, why is it always this with you? Of course it's a person.
Morty has every right to be mad, but he's also a dumbass for missing several red flags here. Firstly, he seems oblivious to the fact that Spaghetti Thursday starts with an open corpse in the garage that we can see is easy to stumble upon. Secondly, Rick clearly hasn't been using the kitchen, so where did he think the spaghetti making was happening? Thirdly, and most red flagishly, not questioning the fact that Rick decided to do something nice for the family. Either this planet is tiny with huge buildings or regular sized with f***ing huge buildings, and either option seems like an odd and burdensome architectural choice.
On this planet, people that kill themselves turn into spaghetti.
Is a thing I have to try and be funny about without making it seem like I've missed the joke, subtext, or multi-layered metaphor. In other words, another day sinning Rick and Morty.
It's almost better cold. Wouldn't go that far. Don't be a hipster.
There's not enough irony, weird mustaches, or hats involved for this to be something hipsters do.
I'm calling the police.
Before you do that, just...
Oh, Rick, stop!
What? Where am I?
Super genius Rick does this.
I just want to be honest about something. After Lawrence died, we, ate him.
We're supposed to believe Morty's doing this to clear his conscience, but if he has a conscience, how can he not see how unconscionable it is to say this shit at the poor man's funeral? The show seems to want to have its spaghetti and make its characters atone for it too, and I just want to let them eat cake. What? That doesn't make any sense. This episode is weird and it's making me weirder.
So we were eating people.
Wait a second. Earlier Morty said,
I want their names or I'm telling Mom.
Rick held up his end of the bargain, so why the f*** are we suddenly telling the whole family instead of moving on to something less f***ing weird, like a character called Mr. Poopy Butthole?
Hard to put out of your mind, yes. Which is why I thought it best to keep you all in the dark.
Well, then why did you bring the entire f***ing body home with you? Why can't you harvest the spaghetti on Spaghetti Planet and then bring it home in Tupperware containers? How does Rick not have Tupperware?
So keep eating them.
We can't now.
Because of you! Sorry.
Morty, that was terrible parenting.
Oh man, here? Now? Really? After 7 seasons, this is where you decide your parenting has crossed the line into terrible.
You are invited to 41 Kepler B. You know it as Spaghetti Planet. You're not in trouble. We just want to talk.
Morty chooses to believe this random sentient spaceship and let it take him to 41 Kepler B. Just because the spaceship speaks the truth doesn't make it any less stupid that Morty goes along with all of this.
We're all very special and different, but we definitely all do like spaghetti.
We do not.
Let me guess. You went back to the planet, gave some thoughtful insight to their leader, and now they're selling their dead at every space Walmart.
The sad realization that if we ever did start colonizing other planets, there would most assuredly be some Walmarts on said planets.
Is this people or not people? I just need to know how much I should pretend to be upset.
I love it when Rick and Morty use their irreverent format to challenge the big topics in society. Topics like, do we really want to know where our food comes from? Wrapped up in a right to die metaphor, among others. It's good shit. 10 out of 10. What I don't love is using Jerry to say the quiet part out loud and stripping away all the nuance out of the metaphor for the benefit of the real world Jerrys in the back row. Don't pander to the Jerrys. They're not listening anyway.
I was a serial killer and cannibal, and now I get to kill myself and be food for you.
This company's building a fucking hologram into every can, and that is an expense they really didn't need to bother with. The only marketing most people need is the word organic, and a quick quote about how the recipe came from Uncle Roy in the 1920s, like, oh, he was a massive racist, but damn it, he knew how to make a good spaghetti.
None of this would have happened if you'd been honest about the spaghetti.
Regardless of when Rick told Morty where the spaghetti came from, Morty would still feel ethically obligated to fix Spaghetti Planet's problems by making 1,000 more problems for Rick to solve.
Okay, so we just need to figure out something else besides people to put in the cans, right?
Can't you just, and hear me out now because this might sound a little weird, can't you just use actual Earth spaghetti?
I love you, Clone 5617B.
I guess all clone stories turn out the same way.
I mean, the island didn't really. They cloned Tyrone certainly didn't, and neither did Star Wars Attack of the Clones, as much as we wish it probably had.
It's in horrible, unimaginable pain from the moment it's born.
Oh, jeez. Oh, no, Rick.
So, I didn't even bother to make it because I knew you'd take issue.
All right, stop the car. So Rick came up with an idea, abandoned it, gave the abandoned idea a sell. Also, he could show the abandoned idea to Morty so that he could tell him he abandoned the idea he knew he wouldn't approve of? I do not believe Rick had the time or will for this.
Maybe give them a claw-like hand so they can, stab themselves to death?
But why are you assuming they would want to stab themselves to death? If this existence is all they've known, why would you assume they want it to end? Dung beetles literally spend their entire lives in but you don't see them deliberately drowning themselves in fecal matter, do you? It's more believable to me that Rick was able to clone the spaghetti-filled torsos than being able to set up a system that evenly distributes the spaghetti to the cans.
Were you?
You're gonna blow yourself up?
I know that trying to find logic in the instinctual need for society to polarize every topic is a big ask, but if these guys are fighting for the rights of the torsos, then why are they going to blow them up? Isn't that killing more torsos? Shouldn't they be trying to free the torsos? Rick, Morty, and the president of the Spaghetti Planet survive this.
What's the f***ing holdup? I've got an entire planet waiting on delivery.
When the spaghetti delivery ships left earlier, no one was out here trying to get to the planet. Where were all of you then?
Did you have a euthanasia chamber ready to go?
Morty isn't doing so great on the won't ask questions promise he made earlier when Rick decided to help him clean up this mess. Skip? Yep, we're skipping the whole emotional finale montage thing. Solid point was being made about would you still eat bacon if you were friends with the pig debate, but it's presented through this manufactured and emotionally manipulative life story that is several notches of up beyond what the inside-out critters in my brain can handle. Look, if you really want to see what happens, fine, but it'll be through the lens of me nitpicking some of the pettiest shit possible to offset the profoundness of the subject matter. Swapping gum is gross. This jersey just says sports ball. This trophy is for a skill set that is far too specific to be worthy of celebration. Not everyone can be a winner, and peddling this idea leads to unrealistic expectations and pressures our kids to always be the best, when statistically that is not possible. These frozen people who all stopped mid-applause. Math. This working lava lamp isn't plugged into anything. Driving in the passing lane with no intention of passing anyone. Using your nose-picking, ass-digging digits instead of a f***ing spoon. Are you all happy now?
Bon appetit.
More vomit. Again? After last episode? Doesn't even make sense this time. Tears, I understand, but why does it always have to be vomit? I swear, Rick and Morty, I will back-to-back bonus roundhouse kick you into triple sin digits, and don't you think I won't?
You couldn't change everyone's taste buds, but you could make it distasteful.
But how will this help them with all the people that have ordered spaghetti but aren't currently on the planet to see this? It's a nice sentiment, especially for Rick and Morty, but doesn't make the fact that it works any less bullshitty.
Holy shit, this is the best Salisbury steak I've ever had.
The best Salisbury steak you've ever had still equals a pretty f***ing gross meal, so I'm not buying anyone's excitement here.
Is it actually Salisbury steak?
Do you want to know or not?
No thanks.
Whew, because the secret is that Salisbury steak wasn't named after Salisbury, England, but after some dude called Salisbury who lived in Missouri. That's right, you're eating Missouri food, f***ers. Just when we thought this episode couldn't get any grosser.
It feels like cold spaghetti. You guys, it feels like cold spaghetti.
That's some good spaghetti.
That accent is terrible.
Rick, I gotta know, what's the secret ingredient?
Silent breed is people!
What is that smell?
Do you like biscotti?
It's not too late to repent your sins. But first, let's pass the collection plate.
Good afternoon to everyone. I'm Kenny Powers. And if you're here, then you're someone Shane cared about, or someone Shane loved. Or maybe you're just somebody who has no business being here at all, who's just here because you think it's going to make you more popular, like Ivan.
Oh. That is sort of an oaky afterbirth.
And would you consider yourself a typical Earthian?
What's typical? Give me typical. Give me some tip.
Help me, Obi-Wan Kenobi. You're my only hope.
But we can fix it, right, Rick?
No. There's no we this time, pal.